All right, what's up, gang? So we are back with another TagCast. Again, I have to issue another apology for how long it's been since the last episode. Basically, just chalk it up to schedules. That's really all that's been in the way. Because we've even though we still have a lot of characters left to go, we have gotten quite a few done, and it seems like everybody plays the same five characters. So it's a little tough to get guests on, and then once I find somebody, it's been somewhat difficult, to get those schedules worked out. So my apologies, again for taking so long between episodes, but hopefully I can get some more out here within a short time frame to try to make up for that. So, but for this episode, I'm actually, because of what I just said, I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit. We've done a couple episodes like this where my guest for this episode isn't a quote unquote expert for the character we're talking about, but I still think that they're a good player. So I want to get them on. And even though we've already done the characters that my guest plays, I still want to get his input and do some insight, get their insight on it. And so with that, the character that we're doing is Armor King. And for the most part, he's a fairly simple, straightforward character. So I don't expect us to miss a whole lot, by not getting, again, a quote-unquote expert for this character. So hopefully, he should still give you a lot of information to go on. So with that, without further ado, I would like to introduce the guest for this episode, and that is Still Electric from Boston. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, people?
So yeah, like I said, you're not an Armor King player per se, but
Not a,
you do have that Mishima background, and I know that you've been tampering with him a little bit. Um,
yeah, I picked him up.
yeah, so nonchalant. Yeah, I picked him up. It's no problem, really.
Well, I mean, the only reason why, because he's he feels like a Mishima, pretty much. So, I mean, it's not. I mean, as far as movement and things like that are concerned, it's not really too hard to play him. You played me a little bit while I was kind of tampering around with him, and I kind of stuck with the backdash, the down fours, the down forward ones, like, the basic things that you would probably use as a Mishima player. So, I'm still trying to learn the basics anyway, but he feels just like Mishima. That's why it's not really much of an overhaul for me, Like if I were to pick up, a capo or something like that, that'd be a different story.
Whatever. Down forward two, back 1-4. End of story. There's your end of list.
And a good backdash.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, before we actually, jump into the detail for Armor King, for those who might not know who you are, I think you were on Tekken Smash not too long ago in the Danger Zone room, whatever they call it. And
Yep.
I know that Anakin referred to you as an up and comer. So for those who want to know a little bit more than just that, kind of give us a background, like how long you've been playing, when did you start, and then how'd you end up where you are?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I've been playing for a pretty long time. I actually started picking up Tekken back in Tekken 2, believe it or not. And I was fortunate enough to have a mentor who kind of brought me up, you know, playing Mishimas. I don't know. He's an old school player. A lot of people may know him, but his name's One Deadly Venom,
ODV.
or ODV, exactly. Yep. So he was pretty big on Zaibatsu. I know he was a mod for a long time, and he actually used to work for my father at a barbershop, and I used to see him play this game in the back room, and I'm like, hey, what's this game? What's he playing? And I wasn't really a gamer back then. I was like 10 years old, and he kind of took me under his wing, and he was playing Heihachi, and actually my first character I picked up was Law, and then after a while I kind of got into the game. I got my first PlayStation. My first game was Tekken 2, and I kind of fell in love with Kazuya for some reason. And I think it was probably because of the storyline. And I saw that my mentor was playing Heihachi, so it's all right. Let me pick up his son and see what I can do. And I pretty much was the old school Boston scene for a long time behind the scenes, though. I was never really um, on a competitive strain like the rest of them. So fast forward, I did play Tekken 3. I did play Tekken Tag 1, 4, 5. Fast forward now to 6. So Tekken 6 is when I actually started getting competitive, and a lot of the older cast in Boston actually died down. I think after 5, and everyone can attest that was a pretty strong game. And I think once they introduced the bound system in Tekken 6, a lot of the older players kind of fell off. So I'd be honest, in Boston, the Tekken scene pretty much died, and but I was definitely still a player, and that's when I actually ran into a friend of mine, and this friend was actually referred to me by ODV, who wasn't actively in the scene, but he was still on TZ at the time, and you guys know him as Off in Bed, and we met. I pretty much thought he was a scrub player when I first met him because everyone always kind of calls you, oh, hey, I play Tekken, yeah, and I'm pretty good. Yeah, I play this and this character, and I'll beat you up, blah blah blah. So we played, and he was actually pretty much on par with me, and I was pretty shocked because I didn't know there was any players at all, But most of his practice was online. He was a big online player. A lot of people knew him as Slick Nick 617 before he was actually officially Off in Bed. But we pretty much we met and we were playing Tekken like crazy. Just him and I, and then slowly but surely we started recruiting a lot of people in Tekken 6. And yeah, and then we have it. And we have a pretty strong scene. I do a lot of posts and stuff on Core's Academy, so a lot of people know that we definitely have active games. I actually even have a lot of people from out of state that come by every now and then to visit. We get games in, and that's pretty much the story. But I mean, I've been a big Mishima player for a long time. Um, and it's been pretty good, man. Tekken Tag 2, really good game, and I'm definitely enjoying it, especially the competitive scene. I love going out to tournaments with the guys, and making a stand.
Nice. Yeah, and I know we had Gangsta of Love did the Steve podcast, and I'm trying to rope Nick Off in Bed to do a character podcast, but he's like he's been a big baby about it. He's like, man, but you already did Jinpachi and you already did Fang.
Yeah, I can smell the salt, man. I was telling him, like, hey, you need to hop on a podcast, and he's like, oh, okay.
That's okay. That's okay. You'll get your time, and he'll be left out. So that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cody took up all the Mishimas already, so
yeah, we're only missing aside from Jin, who's kind of a half Mishima. He is a Mishima, but he's more of a poke fest. The only one that we're missing, I think, aside from Arbor King, which of course we're about to do, is Heihachi. But I actually have Heihachi reserved for somebody, so hopefully that'll be a good one. I'm hoping so.
You'll be surprisingly enough, honestly, Heihachi is my least favorite Mishima. So I actually do not play him at all. So I probably wouldn't want to even do a podcast on him. But he's oh my god, he's one of the best Mishima characters ever. But I think his character is just not interesting to me. I don't know why.
I feel you because I mean I actually do like Heihachi, but I do feel that way about a bunch of characters in this game. Like
yeah, if he had wings, I think my decision would change.
If he had wings, well, let's pray he doesn't. I think he'd look kind of stupid like that. But anyway, all right. Well, let's talk some Armor King then. So usually, I start with just kind of throwing out some strengths and weaknesses, and then we can kind of go from there. Before we jump into that, though, I do want to go over real quick just his changes from Tag or T6 to Tag 2 for those who are looking to pick him up and want to know what the major changes are. So probably there's two big ones that I can think of. Well, and I'll go through them all. But the two main ones that you want to know is that he got a new move in up forward 3, which is a little kind of hop knee thing. And you see that a lot mostly in juggles. I don't really see a huge application for it outside of juggles, aside from the random, just YOLO moments. It gives you the same sort of stun on counter hit that a back one would do, but it just crazy lift in juggles. So depending on who you decide to partner with him, It's a very good throw in there at the end of the juggle. Usually lifts high enough to allow you to do a Shining Wizard or jabs or whatever. So something to keep in mind. And then what the second change, one that I know a lot of people love, is 4-2-1, which is a mid-high string. Although if you block the mid, it does jail, so you can't duck the high, which is a change from T6. You could duck it, and it wasn't punishable. Now you can't duck it, but it is punishable. However, you can now hit confirm it. So very useful against the wall. Has great range, and it does have some pretty good tracking. So I know a lot of people love that change. The only other changes that he has, another new move, back four, safe, good range, mid kick, and then it has a adjust frame 1+2 that gives you a stunner off of it if you manage to hit the back four. And then while standing one isn't a new move, but it now launches on normal hit, which it didn't before, or gives you a normal launch, I should say, like an actual juggle pop up. 1+2, that string does not knock down anymore or wall splat, which I have to say I'm super bitter about. That was my jam. That was my move, and they killed it. But that it's still guaranteed. You can still hit confirm it, or I should say a natural combo. They did change it so that you can hold back after the 1+2 when he goes into back turn. For those who want to play these games. And then he also got a new ground throw, down back 2+4, which if you're at the wall gives you +12, so you get a free back 1-2, or anything within that 12 range if you want it. And that is the end of the list for his new stuff. So after that, I'll give you my opinion first, and then Still Electric, I'll throw it to you and see if you agree, disagree. But he has a couple of glaring weaknesses to me. The first is that he's definitely not a pit bull. His moves on block don't really yield him the best situations. He's very much a spacing, poking character, but he is a great poker. And I think he has even if you don't think they're great, I think he has good counter hit tools that keep you on your toes, so you can't really rush him down. And then now that just because of the tag system with Dark Upper, and then the fact that you can tag buffer it, his juggling potential way better than it was in T6. And then of course he's half king, so he's going to have that great throw game. And then I also think because of that, and then all like the 4-2-1 boosts, he has a couple other good wall splats. Very good at the wall. So throw that at you. Like, do you feel the same way? What's your view on him thus far? Like, where do you think his strengths lie?
You're right. I think a lot of his strengths are definitely in the throw game mix-up, and I say that since the wave dash presence is there, but I don't think it's as effective because he doesn't have an electric for the pressure. So I've noticed that a lot of people when fighting Army King tend to duck, especially from let's say like range 2 or 3. So I think the advantage now for him would be to exercise some strong mids. But all right, that's more weaknesses. If we talk strengths, it's definitely in his throw game mix up. His pokes are amazing. You're right, he doesn't give that that block pressure that you want, but he definitely gets some pretty good frame advantage. And then if you're really strong at buffering his grabs, especially giant swing from so many different things, you're going to take him to a whole nother level. And once you start getting your opponent to duck, that still could be in his favor as well, especially with him having that buff, which is 4-2-1 mid. Especially being hit confirmable, that's something that you can definitely abuse, and you can definitely take to a whole other level. And you can you can kind of choose the way you want to play him. You could take him as an aggressive standpoint, or you can kind of take him back and kind of hold back. I see a lot of Arm King players kind of tend to hold back, and they're pretty much passing their dark uppers over to their other character for red life, and they do a pretty good job at that. And because he has that wave dash, just like Mishima's, even though he doesn't have the electric, he still has the ability to get from range 2 to range 0 in a matter of seconds, just to get a strong whiff punish for a really good red life, depending on who his partner is. So I think that I think those features alone make him a big threat.
Yep, I agree absolutely, and it's funny that you mentioned Giant Swing, because as we learned from TFC this past weekend, apparently no one can tech it. So like
And I
like
so I witnessed this.
I was just, I was just shocked, like how many people ate that. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who was doing it. If it was King, Armor King, Roger, Alex, it didn't matter. Whoever the giant swing was coming from, it never got teched. It was kind of silly, but, but what's funny is that, you know, like I know that some people's knee jerk reaction is gonna be like, "Oh man, that's American Tekken." But I was watching a JDCR knee Tekken Strike match not too long ago, and fucking knee wasn't teching it either. I was like, "What the hell happened?" like it was so rare. I remember back in the like the T3 and the Tag 1 days, like it was so rare for someone not to, like, you were a total scrub if you couldn't do that. Um, oh man, how the times have changed. But I am, like, speaking of TFC though, I am glad that that happened recently, because we got to see two actually really good King players, in my opinion. Lil Majin, of course, which everyone knows. I think he's one of the better players, I should say, in the States. And then overall, which I had actually never seen him play before, TFC, and he had a really really strong King game.
Sure.
But you mentioned how you know Armor King players tend to kind of hold back a little bit, and I think that both of those players did do that. And I mentioned JDCR. I think he does that as well. And to me, at least, watching Armor King and having some experience with him, I think that one of your primary goals when you use him is to use his poking game to kind of open up your opponent a little bit, but even more than that, to kind of see how they react. And you mentioned the crouch dashing or the wave dash game, which is really important to understand for him, because I'm glad that you mentioned it. The electric with a Mishima, I mean, that's a pressure tool, and he doesn't have that, and it's the one big part of his wave dash game that he doesn't have, that the normal Mishimas do have. Because we often, at least people who are kind of comparing the two characters, Armor King with the other Mishimas, they often forget about that. And his Dark Upper is just like a regular non-electric from a Mishima. So it technically is punishable, although it's a really quick recovery, so you usually don't see it get punished very often, because it's only -10. But yeah, I mean, you can't use his wave dash game like that. And it's usually just focusing on those pokes, seeing how they react, and then, like you said, if you have a strong grab presence, like with your execution, that's that's immensely important out of wave dash. And I'm glad that you brought up the ducking, because you're absolutely right. A lot of people do like to duck Armor King at that range 2 to 3, and I personally, I'm completely okay with it, because I like the mid pokes that he has, especially while standing 4. Like, his while standing 4 is so beefy.
Oh, yeah. That extra damage, man. So
Yeah.
And then you got a nice down 4. I really love his down 4. Just a generic down 4. The range that thing has is absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah, it's I mean, a lot of people, I think, would argue, and I'm in this camp, that his down 4 is the one of the best low pokes in the game, and just pokes. mind you. It's obviously not a big damage, but I mean, yeah, he gets it has the same sort of properties as your generic shin kick, but so much range. And it could just be me, but it seems like it has um, a little bit better tracking than your average shin kick.
Well, I mean, his foot's so long.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but in addition to that, I mean, that's sort of to keep your opponent a little off guard. But he doesn't have to be at range 0, like you mentioned. His leg is really long. But if you do happen to get into that range 0, which is another reason that I think, his crouch dash and his wave dash is so important, because he can back away from you. You can sidestep, backdash, whatever you want to do. But you can't get away from him. And I think that's really important. Like, there's some characters that struggle with that to get into that range 0, and the crouch dash does not make that an issue for him. So, he has other low pokes. Down 3 is a great low poke, good tracking. I believe it gives +1 on hit. Let me double check that here. Yeah, +1 on block. It is -12, or sorry, +1 on hit. It is -12 on block, but still, I mean, good damage. It's beefier than the down 4, of course. Like I said, it had good tracking. It is a little, on the range, but as long as you're spacing properly and using that crouch dash, it shouldn't really be all that big of a problem. And then his high pokes. It's when we were playing. I made the comment how you love down forward 1, and his down forward 1 is super awesome.
Oh yeah.
Good. It's got your typical damage for a mid poke. I would guess. I mean, 16. I'm not 100% sure how that compares to other people's mid pokes, but you're getting your damage, but it gets +1, I believe. Or sorry, it's only -1 on block, +7 on hit. It has a tendency to go under jabs on occasion, which is really weird, I have to admit. But it has decent tracking for what a down forward 1 should be. Of course, sidestep is really, or sidewalking, whatever.
And
It's really
I'm
beefed
sure
up.
I'm sure it's 13 frames, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's your standard 13 frames. But yeah, +7, so you're not going away if it nails you. And then to me, I really like his jab, just his regular jab pokes. I mentioned how he doesn't have the best pressure game on block, but compared to other characters, I think that his jab game is a lot better than the average, because not only does he have your standard 1-2, but he has 1-2-1.
Yep.
They block the 1. For some reason I was thinking that was plus. Sorry. So he has 1-2 and then 1-2-1, which plays some mind games since that last one is a mid. Then he has the 2-1 string, which I personally love. I'm a huge fan of high mid strings. Plus, again, it's a plus. It says 5 or 6 on hit, and of course it's a natural combo. The 2 hits,
and it's a 10 framer.
Yep, 10 framer. So yeah, I mean, plus let's see, what's the damage on it? 29. So for a 10 frame punish, 29 damage plus 5 or 6 right in your face. I mean, we'll get into it later, I'm sure, but his grab game, you can buffer giant swing.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe. I think that's the only grab that you can actually buffer, because you might be able to buffer DDT, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's see. But it doesn't matter. Giant. I mean, those aren't half circle inputs. So yeah, giant swing might be the only one that you can actually buffer, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Tombstone still only in 1 extra input, so the plus 5 plus 6 still works in your favor. And yeah, obviously it's a lot more difficult to sidestep grabs than it is actual moves. So yeah, I think his poking game is amazing. And what else does he have aside from that? Well, I actually wrote down a list of all the pokes that I like. You mentioned down 4, down 3. Oh, down forward 4. Another good poke. It's also 13 frames. But it's I would imagine you'd probably use it kind of the opposite as you would down forward 1, because it sort of pushes away as opposed to pulling in.
A move like this, I'd probably use more on keep out.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, it's if you don't like using down forward 1 to try to get in, you have an option to kind of push them away, play that spacing game that you were talking about. Although they're a little on the slow side, but like down 2, I love down 2. That's one of my favorite moves with Armor King. It's somewhat linear, obviously, just because the downward chop motion, but completely safe. I actually only think it's negative a couple.
Feels like -2.
Yeah, negative. It says -2, and it leaves them in crouch, which is of course amazing because it's sort of a setup for his his beefy wall standing 4. But what I really love about this move is when you actually get it on hit, because it's +7, still leaves them in crouch. If you get the counter hit, it says +11. I don't feel like that's right. Like I didn't think that a wall standing 4 was guaranteed, but I know that it's not guaranteed. I don't think that's right, but I know that it's plus a bunch, and I know that you're stuck.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm doing it now, down 2, and then doing a wall standing 4, and it's counting it as a combo for 53 damage.
Do you have them on hit or second action guard all? Because they're blocking mine, so maybe I'm just not mashing fast.
Let me do that right now.
I think it's one of those weird ones where like man, I can't even really explain it. Like I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not a frame wizard like Noodlehead is. So, because I know that there's some sort of deceiving frames out there. Like even though it gives you plus whatever, like certain things aren't guaranteed. Like what's a good example? Like Wang's Waning Moon. Like I think it gives you, like technically speaking, more frames than you can actually use. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But in any case, like I don't think that's guaranteed. But it doesn't matter. They're stuck there.
They're pretty much locked down.
Yeah, and I mean you can't step it. Even if it's not counter hit, I don't think that you can step the wall standing 4. And people loved for whatever, and you can't do anything. Like you have to sit there and block it. And people love to move or attack or. I don't know. It's really weird. Like I've noticed a lot whenever somebody eats a down forward or a down 2, like they're just got them hands on the buttons. I don't really know why, but I mean it leaves you in a great position. I know you were talking earlier about or not earlier here, but I recall you mentioning how you needed to get your giant swing buffers out of crouch.
Yeah.
A little bit faster. I mean that's a perfect situation for that. Just check them with the wall standing 4. Make sure that they understand that they can't move after they eat that, and it's a perfect grab setup or grab situation.
So, it's funny because Kazuya has a very, very, very similar move to that. His down back 2 also kind of leaves you in crouch, and on hit it kind of does the same thing. You definitely get the plus frames. I'm not sure on what the plus is. But I know on block, it's 0, and you're right. A lot of people love pressing buttons. So, you can kind of bait out, while standing 4. If you're good enough, you can backdash, electric, or you can step and punish, or you can do a while standing 4 as well and trade, 11 frames, you can't lose. Chances are they're probably not going to do a while standing attack. They'll probably try to jab or something like that. But, yeah, he has a very, very similar attack, and it's kind of with his elbow as well,
And it has really deceptive range too. Like I notice Kazuya's does as well. Like it looks like they're like I know for Armor King he does a little step forward when he does down 2. But I mean it looks like a really somewhat closer range move. But the hitboxes are huge. on that set. In Armor King, Juggles down 2 is one of your your go-to bound moves, so it hits really, really low. But yeah, for me personally, I love that move. I love throwing it in whenever I can. And if you do happen to catch them trying to press buttons, like you just said, 50, 60 damage, pretty easy 2 moves. So yeah. Oh, let's see. Yeah, his poke game is, like before we even started talking about it, like I said, he's pretty straightforward. You're going to be doing a lot of down 4s, a lot of down forward 1s, a lot of jabs, a lot of while standing 4. And I personally like to do it, that's 90% of the time if I'm doing a move out of crouch dash or wave dash, it's going to be a while standing 4. So I very much use it as a a moving poke. I don't even know how you phrase that. As you're spacing sort of poke, something along those lines.
No, yeah, but no, that's definitely a Mishima style tactic right there, because you want to start training them to stand up, and that's kind of what you'll have to do with Armor King a lot is kind of get them to, once they start ducking, get them to stand up again. So that's one of those moves, while you're moving around and trying to get in and trying to get out. That's the attack that you want to annoy them with, because they'll eat it and they'll realize, oh man, this is doing a lot of damage, and I'm tired of getting hit by it. Let me stand up, and then you can open them up again with some grabs and things like that as well. So yeah, definitely that's a solid move to be using while in movement.
Yeah, and it's I mentioned before that he doesn't really have like the electric sort of counter or pressure tool. He does have Crouch Dash 1, which I personally love to use. But most of the time, I either use it when I think that they're about to come in, because it has such long range. Even if they're not coming in, chances are they're not thinking about ducking at that sort of range. So sometimes you can kind of use it to create that sort of block stun plus frame situation. It doesn't really leave you with any sort of pressure situations, of course, because it pushes them so far away. But that along with while standing forward, just like you were mentioning, trying to get him to stand back up. I do like to kind of play the back and forth game, I guess you could say. Try to entice them to duck a little bit, catch a couple while standing 4s, get him to stand back up, then do it again with the Crouch Dash 1. Try to get him to duck, and you don't have to abuse it. Like I said, 90% of the time I'm still doing while standing 4 because I don't want to get ducked and punished. But like once, for some weird reason, even people who don't know Armor King all that well seem to know that Crouch Dash 1 is high, and they like to duck it. So all you need to do is really do one of them, just to let them know that it's there.
Yep.
And then that's all you need. Then it's while standing 4 city. From there. One poke that I did want to mention real quick. I believe it's I-15, so it's it's fast enough. Is down forward 2. And it's kind of a weird string because, for one, it's the start of his 10 string, which you wouldn't really think some of those would be all that good. But down forward 2-1 it's a mid high. Down forward 2 has a pretty good tracking for what it is, and it's an NC, just natural combo if you connect the down forward 2. Now, some people do kind of try to get cute and duck the second hit, but you can just stop at the -2 or the down forward 2. And down forward 2 is technically punishable, but it's not really. It's only -12, so it's not going to get punished if they're trying to instant while standing and do like a 13 frame or launch you or something like that. So, so for those who are trying to pick up Armor King, if you run into somebody who's trying to do that and guess the second hit, the high portion of it, just stop at the down forward 2. If you happen to connect down forward 2 counter hit, it knocks down, gives you a free down back 3 although you can play Oki games with it. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know some players, like JDCR, for instance, maybe I'm just not watching him enough, but I don't see him doing a lot of down forward 2-1s. He likes to stop the down forward 2. Um, so I don't know if, it's probably just personal preference. He likes the Oki setup after if he gets the counter hit or whatever it may be. If down forward 2 does hit, I believe it just leaves you at even. So not a huge advantage there. But just some things to keep in mind for that string. I really like that string though, because it's obviously counter hit. Let me see what the damage is real quick. It's about 40 damage for a poke string. So.
And it's really, just from playing around with it right now, because of that high ender, and for those that are greedy and like to get that duck, this would be perfect, especially if you're fighting high level play against someone that is definitely looking for the duck and launch punish to just be throwing out just a single one, kind of play around with their head a little bit, the mind game thing. And I don't know, for some reason it kind of reminds me of Devil Jin, his laser scrapers. And a lot of people will, all right, so the notation for that is back forward 2 1 2, and a lot of people will do the auto sidestep on the last 2, sidestep to the right, and try to launch. And so normally what I'll do is I'll just do the first 2 and not end it. A lot of people will kind of move, for the step, and once they see that the ender doesn't come out, it's kind of like that, like a dead pause, where like who's gonna attack first? What am I gonna do next? And I think that Armor King's down forward 2 kind of presents that same situation, that silent pause where you get that hesitation. And I like to call it like a hesitation factor, And once you kind of get that instilled in your opponent's head, you can kind of play around with your options after. And so I think a move like this here, where you can be greedy or you can't be greedy, you have that option now where you can kind of get into your opponent's head by not finishing their attack, or you can finish it. It kind of depends on how your opponent's reacting to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And one thing that I've noticed just with Tag 2 in general, well, not just Tag 2, but I think with each Tekken that comes out, like moves that in the past were just one hit or maybe even just 2 hits, like everything seems to be like a 3 or 4 hit string now. So it's so hard to visually confirm on a lot of those if they're going to stop or not, or if they're going to keep going. And yeah, Laser Scraper has turned into one of those. And then yeah, you can definitely use down forward 2 like that. So yeah, let's see. That's all I have for like the pokes. I can't really think of anything else. Like there's some other moves that you could use as pokes, like back 4. Back 4 is a really weird move because like that's his new move that leads to the stunner. I don't know if you found yourself using that at all. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like I kind of think like he has better stuff. Like you can sort of use forward 2. I mean, it moves you forward toward them, but I don't know. Like for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like I can work it in anywhere. I don't know.
Well, from messing around with it right now, it has good range. I do like the range on it, but it's one of those moves that I would be very afraid to whiff, especially if I'm fighting someone that has really good spacing. So I'd probably be using it a lot more in a corner. It does look very linear as well. And what I really don't like about it is the recovery, especially on a whiff. It feels like pretty bad. Like as soon as I kick this out, as soon as if I were to see a kick on the offense like that was whiffed, I would automatically be smelling electrics. So I, for a move like this, it's very good. I think, especially if you're trying to corner somebody or you're trying to end the match. This would be a pretty strong move, I think, just because it has deceptive range. But other than that, it looks pretty linear, and I think the recovery on it's pretty bad. I don't know if it's punishable on block, but probably not.
It's not, but it's like right at that borderline. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
say it's like,
it feels like -9 or 8.
yeah. Let me
Okay.
check here.
Yeah, I would use that. I would use that sparingly. I wouldn't toss it out, but I would definitely use it sparingly. Definitely for match enders, I think it'd be pretty strong, especially if someone's trying to come in and you want to keep them out. So it definitely looks like one of those keep out moves.
Yeah. So it's -11, which I believe, because I know that it has decent like pushback. So I don't think that I would say probably the only character that has a chance maybe at punishing it would be maybe Kunimitsu with 444. I think that's the only thing that would reach with it.
Maybe Kazuya with back one too.
No, I actually know for a fact that that doesn't connect. I remember when before the game even came out, when they had like the show version of it at Evo, it looked like it. I liked how it looked at first, because he's kind of snap kicking him, but with power,
Yeah.
So it looks really awesome. And I was playing a guy who was playing Kazuya, and I was like, dude, that looks punishable. This move has got to be shitty. And we sat there and kept going through punishers, and he couldn't do it. So, and I tried again when the game first came out. So, but I don't think anyone's like negative or 10 frame or any of that punish. Like maybe Bob. Bob might have a chance, but because his arms or his punches go so far. But
God, yeah, his friggin' arms. Oh my God.
yeah. But aside from that, I still don't think that'll hit though. I think it leaves you far enough away. Kunimitsu is probably the only one who has a chance. So it's one of those technically safe sort of moves, but not really. It's yeah, kind of weird. I don't know. It's a goofy move, but like you mentioned, maybe rare situations that you can use it and get some benefit out of it. But up to this point, we've been talking about um, poking, playing the spacing game, um, and I mentioned before we started all that, that he has some pretty decent counter hit tools, and I'm curious what you think about this because like characters, he doesn't have a magic four per se. He has back four, which gives him a juggle, or back one, sorry. Which gives him a juggle, but he doesn't have that floating magic four or anything like that. Instead, he has some crush tools like down back three, which is the big sweep that'll give you a launch on counter hit, assuming you're within range. That can catch people who are jab happy. He does have the back one, which can lead to a juggle, and then he has down one neutral four. It's crouch jab, which will crush a high, but obviously a crouch jab is going to be just pretty quick to begin with. And then the four leaves him at big time frames. Let me make sure. Tell you guys exactly what the frames are. But while I'm looking that up, I want to know what your opinion is on him being kind of rushed down. It's +6. Do you think that he has a strong keep out game? He obviously has the YOLO hop kick too. If you want to use that, but how do you see his counter game? Do you find that he's somewhat hard to pressure, or do you think it's just kind of an average?
I think it depends on the player, because a lot of players, I play Gangsta of Love, and Gangsta of Love was originally a Steve player, and he had a knack for sensing exactly when to hunt. I'd call him like a back one hunter, and he was really good with Steve at hitting me with back one on counter hit. Um, so much so that I kind of classified him as that. So I think a lot of people are really good at knowing exactly when to do a back one, and I've played against people that throw a back one with Army King for counter hits and do a pretty good job at it. And so in that sense, I like him as a counter hit character because if they're playing the keep out game and they're being pressured, they have some tools that they can use at their disposal to crush that pressure, and back one would be one of them. Down back three would be Down back three would be another option for crushing. Especially if they're playing the spacing game, backdash into, the dark upper, that type of thing. I like his crushing. I definitely like his crushing.
Now I noticed that when we played, and I just don't know if you haven't experimented with it enough, but you preferred or seemed to prefer doing a back one over down one neutral four. Do you like that string at all? You just haven't messed with it too much, or
I didn't even know it was there. Honestly, I didn't. And now as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, he's kind of like Anna. I didn't even know he had something like that. And then I looked it up. I saw it was like negative, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something like that. And but yeah, it's an awesome tool. And I would probably actually really be using that a lot. Um, especially if I'm cornered by a wall and I want to get out, or if I'm cornering someone at the wall and I want them to stay. So that's something I wasn't familiar with at the time, but after TFC and watching some stuff with Little Majin, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good tool to use, for a whole shitload of situations. Another thing, and I don't know if you would consider this a crush move or what you would consider it, and I don't even know the notation, but I can tell you right now that Majin was using it a lot. And I swear to God, he must have hit it at least 6 times, and it was like pretty free. Is that flying elbow? Well, how do you do that?
It depends. If you just mean the elbow by itself,
Yeah.
it would be forward 1+2. I did see, and I was cheering every time he did it. I did see him do the cartwheel 2, 3+4 2.
Yes.
Which is the cartwheel plus that elbow.
Yes.
I love that move so much because if the cartwheel hits, the elbow is guaranteed. So it's like I'll actually got to turn counter hit off here in just a second. Does 57 damage. It's completely safe. You actually have a choice. You can either stay there on the ground, in which case you do give them the opportunity to hit you on the ground. But you can tech roll it if they block it. So as soon as you hit the ground, if it connects, he does a little kip up thing, so you can't do it there. But I take that back. Even if it's whiffs and you hit the ground, you can still tech roll. So I'm a huge fan of that. Like, I think a lot of people sort of forgot that they changed that or made that change, because that string was terrible in T5. It was absolute garbage. But then they changed it to make it natural combo, and all of a sudden became really awesome. But yeah, the elbow itself has that same property. If you do forward 1+2, even if it whiffs or they block it, you can still tech roll off of it. Although Majin, you said he hit it a lot, of course, but he liked to stay there.
Now, yeah, and how do you do that?
Just stay there?
Yeah.
Oh, you just don't hit anything. He'll just stay on the ground.
All right. Well, because all right. I'm just testing it out, and he's doing a spring up by himself without.
Oh well, if you connect, if it hits, he does the spring
up. Okay.
But like when he wasn't hitting and like the opponent just blocked, he just chilled.
Okay, you're right.
He just sat on the ground. So I don't know if maybe he was just trying to. I don't really know what he was doing. Maybe trying to bait a whiff or something.
No, I would assume him staying down on the ground would pretty much be what he would accept as punishment. So he would do the move, and if he did it on block, instead of him setting himself up for an Oki situation by standing up right away, he would take the low hit, which would kind of give him pretty much a free stand up. So normally somebody would probably hit them, depending on who he's fighting against. For instance, Jack. I can't see Jack hitting him with anything too crazy on the floor for him to have to worry about. that's fast enough. So I'm sure if anything, he'd probably get hit with a generic down 3 or a generic 4 or something like that, and take the low hit and stand back up. So he pretty much got a nice attempt at an attack, and got minimal damage for it because he's on the floor, and I think that's why he was using it. Oh, I mean, I'm sure he has other reasons as well because
Yeah.
it's margin, but. But from what I've seen, the minimal amount of damage. I mean, he was getting minimal punishment for it, and for the amount of successes that he had throwing it out, I say that was a pretty strong move. It had pretty good range. It looked like, and it looked like that hitbox was had a lot of active frames.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It stays out there forever.
Exactly.
And yeah, pretty much until he hits the ground. Like it's out there.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that hit boots. Like it hit your big toe.
I really like that move in general. It's pretty strong, and you're not taking a lot of damage for it at all after you're doing it. So, and it has good range, and it doesn't look like most people will step it. Maybe.
I might have told a lie, like, because I know that you could tech roll that in T6, but I'm having a really hard time doing it. Like I haven't gotten it once. So
Yeah.
maybe they took.
I'm not seeing a tech roll at all. I'm not even seeing. I mean, I think you actually forced to stay down.
Yeah, because I know that you could tech roll off of that. I thought maybe they took that away. Interesting.
Oh, discovery.
New move discovery. I was not aware of that. I thought you could still tech roll that. Oh well. Well, maybe that's why he was staying down. He did not have a choice.
Yeah.
Well.
But and regardless, I would probably stay down anyway. Take the hit. You'll see a lot of high level play. A lot of players stay down because tech rolling sometimes will help your opponent gain momentum, and they'll be able to work out a lot of their Oki situations based on you teching. So and a lot of people don't want to take the low hits sometimes, so they tech to stand up right away, and that goes in favor for a lot of high level players that will set you up with a lot of traps that they have on Oki for getting up quickly. So move like this, you pretty much throw it out and take a low hit or stay down, and hopefully force them to whiff with them thinking that they might be able to punish you with a mid. It kind of opens them up a little bit too, and it's a cool way to get in. I'd say. I mean, at least up close a little bit, especially by the wall. Definitely a cool way to get in without having to worry too much about getting crushed.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, you're going to get a really funky float, and chances are they're not going to be able to do a whole lot anyway. So,
yeah. So
but that tends to just stuff jabs and stuff. So.
And I guess an important thing too is how much damage it's doing, and I think it's doing a pretty good chunk.
Yeah, it's 37 if you just hit it on regular hit, but I mean, obviously counter hit, it's going to get into the 40s.
Counter hit's about 44.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure that if you hit that, chances are it's probably you either caught them stepping or they're hitting the buttons. So.
Yep. So solid move. I mean, I just had to plug that in there because I did know at TFC, man, he was using it, and I was really impressed, and I didn't even know that move was good, but it's good.
Yeah, you gotta love those funky elbows.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good. So real quick, I did want to go over the situations for his counter hit tools because down 4 or down 1 neutral 4. It's kind of weird because of the first of all, it's only natural on counter hit. It's not NC, it's NCC. So keep that in mind. It is going to be punishable even if you land the crouch jab. If it's not counter hit, they can still block the knee. But 24 damage if you get the full string on counter hit. Gives you +6, and it gives you a little weird like pop up. Yeah. And if you're trying to pick up Armor King, it's one of those things where you're going to have to experiment with it a little bit. Kind of depends on what your opponent's going to do. For me personally, if it's the first time I've ever played somebody, it's the first time I'm landing that move, the very first thing I'm going to do is throw out down 4-2 because they don't really have the frames to step it. so they're kind of stuck there. And then some people will look at that move, and even if they've never been hit by it, they can sort of sense the grab mix-up. And lots of people either like to mash out like a hop kick or something, which honestly I don't even think it wouldn't beat out a giant swing. Giant swing will still catch it, but that or they'll like to duck, and then the down forward two will catch the duck. And then once you get them to stop moving, because nothing can, I don't believe anything can beat out the down forward two. It comes out essentially in 9 frames because the +6. So I've never had anything beat it out. So use down forward two to kind of stuff it, get some good damage. And if you stop the down forward two, chances are you're going to be safe if they just stand there and block. So something to keep in mind. But you can always play with it. Do stuff like down 3 if you want to try to get a low poke in there, or whatever it may be. I personally don't like to do giant swing after that. I love doing DDT. For whatever reason, everyone either tries to break giant swing, or they think I don't know, like a regular 2 or tombstone or something is coming. For whatever reason, DDT has a high success rate.
Hey, you're giving away your strats, man.
Well, remember I don't play Armor King anymore, so
All
I
right.
dabble with him, but he's not on my main team.
All right.
But
Mind games.
yeah, but I mean, even if you watch TFC, I know overall he threw out some DDTs. Even though Naklam, he wasn't playing Kings, but they still have the DDT. He threw out some DDTs for some weird reason. I think probably the giant swing and the tombstone scare people a lot. So they don't think about the DDT. But DDT leaves you in a great position, I think. They have to roll away to avoid the get up kick after the DDT, which just opens them up for pressure because you can just stand up and just chase them. So yeah. So I prefer doing DDT, but do whatever you want. If you're right next to the wall, fuck it, go for a giant swing. Might as well. What else? Down back 3, of course, is pretty straightforward. It leaves you at like a +6 or 7 on hit, something goofy like that. But it gives you the juggle on counter hit. Yeah, +5 or 6 on hit. But it gives you the counter hit juggle. So pretty straightforward. Do your juggle. And then back 1 is something that I wanted to talk about a little bit because it gives a goofy crumple stun that I mentioned earlier because up forward 3 gives you the same stun on counter hit. Now, this is something that I mentioned to you, Still Electric, because we were kind of talking about Armor King strats and stuff a while back, and a lot of like the go-to, the supposed bread and butter is doing cartwheel, which will pop them up, and then you do a crouch jab, then crouch cancel and down 2 into the bound, and then do whatever from there, tag assault or just finish the combo. Now, I personally don't like doing that because I feel it's super inconsistent. And if you happen to hit it off axis, good luck. I've never seen that shit hit off axis. But yeah, the pop up is just horribly inconsistent. And if you don't believe me, just go watch JDCR. He doesn't do back 1 a whole bunch, but when he does, he goes for the cartwheel juggle, and I swear to God, he misses it half the time. So, and you even saw it again at TFC. Like these guys, I did see a few back 1s hit counter hit. They tried the cartwheel, and I swear to God, half the time it dropped. So I personally, I like consistency over max damage if the consistency is really bad. So I like to do down 2 straight into bound, and I usually always tag assault. So you'll have to figure out who your tag assault juice is going to be with your partner. If you don't tag assault, it kind of does a slam bound thing. It's really weird animation, and you can't really get a whole lot off of it. I think like the most damage is probably going to be down back 3. If for whatever reason I really don't want to tag assault, like I have rage or something like that, I will just do down 4, stomp them right, and just kind of leave them there. You can tech roll off of it, however, like you're tech rolling right into his grab range. So it's pretty good Oki off that, but you only get like 40 some damage. Whereas if you do the tag assault, chances are you're going to get into the 70s or 80s. But yeah, something to keep in mind. And everything else is pretty straightforward. YOLO hop kick. Obviously, you just want to do the juggle off of that.
Yeah, I like just to add to that, I agreed with the consist. Well, I think I'm that type of player too. I really like consistency over max damage, and and everyone's different, but I've seen even like high level Korean players, when they're playing, giving their all, they're pretty much going for the uh, I can't say basic combos. They're not doing basic combos, but because it's to them it's not basic, but they tend to go for consistency, I think, and I think that's a big factor, especially when it's crunch time and you are in a tournament and you're playing someone that you respect, and you really, really, really don't want to drop a juggle because it's important that you land it. You tend to tone it down a little bit, and you go for something that you know is going to land. And I think that's an important factor for a lot of players to keep in mind. It's not always about the max damage combo. And I would probably say it's good to practice it though, just to have it, in your pocket. But I do really like consistency. But of course my consistent combo is going to be doing a lot of damage, no matter what. So I would probably work on that. But oh shit.
Yeah, and it's an interesting discussion because I know just generally speaking that like players tend to fall into to there. Well, there's three different camps. There's the one camp that says always go for red life or whatever um, if you can, and then the other camp that says tag assault all the time, no matter what. It's all about damage, tag assault. If you're not tag assaulting, you're not playing the system. And then there's the ones that are in the middle where you should tag assault when you can. You should also be watching life bars. Make sure you're making a strategy out of it. And I think it just kind of plays into that. Like if you find that, yeah, like you just said, if you find that you're really good at hitting that cartwheel juggle, more power to you. Go for it. But yeah, I'm really bad at it, and like just looking at players who are far better than I am, who are having trouble being consistent with it. I just prefer going straight to the bound. And getting my tag assault. And something, just a quick note on it, you can bound with down forward 2, but that kind of the consistency thing, it has a tendency to whiff for some weird reason. So, whereas down 2 will not. As long as you're not messing up the timing and just doing it way too slow, down 2 will always hit. So yeah. I think that's the end, really, of the the counter hit tools list. I was gonna go into Oki because we kind of mentioned it a few different times. His Oki is really, really going to depend on the situation, the juggle that you use. It's kind of funny. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about Oki is that in T6, I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, or the Armor King discussion,
Right.
rather, that his juggle damage is a lot better in this game just because of the tag system, tag assault, all that. I feel like he was very average in T6 when it came to juggle damage, but pretty much every juggle ended with the giant swing air grab because it left him in such good Oki. But that seems to have changed in this game, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, for one, oddly enough, it seems to be more inconsistent now, but also just because of the tag assault system. I don't think that you're in that situation a lot. Like he gets so much more damage off of other stuff that going for the giant swing Oki, air grab Oki, isn't often worth it. I mentioned doing up forward 3 in a juggle, and you'll notice, both overall and Lil Maji when they were doing Armor King tag assaults, when it ended with Armor King, almost always they did up forward 3 into Shining Wizard, unless of course they're at a wall. But like that's it. That sort of stuff seems to do way more damage than ending with the giant swing. And Shining Wizard Oki is a little goofy because like it throws him away. Like unlike regular King, who sort of leaves him right there at the feet. It sort of throws him away and leaves you kind of at like a neutral space. And he doesn't have like so many frames to work with to run like a super pressure in that situation. But yeah, I don't know what when I can't remember when we played what juggles were you using? Were you usually ending with a Shining Wizard? I know you weren't doing the giant swing for sure, but I can't remember if you were doing that or something else.
For me, what I was ending with definitely wasn't Shining Wizard. I think I was trying, but I wasn't getting it because I thought I'm a noob, and I thought Shining Wizard was running 1+2 for the longest, and I didn't realize that it was a 2+4 thing. So I kind of just figured that out. So I didn't really have a strong ender at all. I mean, I think for a combo, I think I was ending everything with Devil Jin. I'm not gonna lie. But
Gotcha. He was pulling the team.
I normally do see a lot of. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess you're talking solo juggle damage.
Well, I would imagine solo because yeah, probably yeah. Well, no, I guess it's both because Shining Wizard.
I see a lot of and I like a lot of people. They end with 4-2-1. Like they'll do a juggle, they'll bound, and then once they bound, they'll end with 4-2-1. I've seen that for solo damage. I don't know how much how good that is for a combo, but I mean I've seen that before.
Yeah, if it's just him, I've seen after the bound you run up down forward 1 and then forward 2-1, and that seems to leave you pretty good like running mix-ups, especially you mentioned again earlier the whole being able to fluently buffer your grabs out of stuff, and being able to do giant swing out of running while running giant swing is insanely good, because a lot of people are breaking Shining Wizard. So coming out with the giant swing is pretty raw. And then I don't know if you noticed, but his running 4. A lot of people have the slide kick. His is way cooler.
Oh, and, look at that. It's like a baseball slide.
Yeah, so it's like a stronger version of his down back 4. Like a running version of that. But just the Oki, I don't even want to say Oki because it's kind of a lame Oki, but like he slams him to the ground, and you can do the little toe kick down 3, grounded down 3 to kind of pop him up,
yes.
get a secondary free hit. I think you can block that if you're fast enough, but yeah, like even if you try to get up and block it, well, he can stand up as well and do a grab or down 4-2 or whatever. So yeah, running mix-ups are cool. The juggles, yeah, I don't know, man. Like the Shining Wizards are good. Like obviously it does good damage, but yeah, like it doesn't leave you in a super awesome Oki position. But I mean, you can do some stuff off of it if you think obviously if they're going to do a get up kick, you can backdash a little bit, punish with a dark upper. It's very basic Oki, kind of going back to what I opened with. He's a very basic character, nothing really crazy. You're not going to get anything in the back, like some 10-hit string in the back or anything like that. Very basic Oki. He has some advantage, but he's not going to get a free ground hit. And you just kind of run your game from there, however you want to do. Whiff punish. If you think they're just going to stand up or whatever, run up, do a grab mix up, whatever it may be. But I did, speaking with Oki though, like he does get some solid Oki off of certain things, like Tombstone is a great example. It leaves them face down, feet away, and I don't believe he doesn't have enough frames to like catch anybody in the back. I don't think. Check this. Yeah, I don't think you can like catch them if they try to quick stand, but I mean, if they quick stand, they're just asking to get thrown again.
Yep.
So, and if they roll away, that can yield, like run up and catch them in the back. sort of stuff. He doesn't really have the best catches for that. He has the back 2-1-2 string, but I don't know if you have enough time for that. You can do cartwheel. Cartwheel would catch. I think if you do Shining Wizard, you can do a back grab. You might not even need Shining Wizard. Just do a regular grab after they roll away for a free back grab. So there's some stuff you can play around with that. To me, I don't know how much you've messed around with his wall game, but he doesn't get it's not Lars type damage. That's for sure. But I love his Oki at the wall. And there's a few different his wall game is. I'm actually gonna be a little long-winded here for a second because his wall game is he has a bunch of different options for it.
Right.
And the basic one that you see some people use. Let me reset my position here in practice mode. So the basic one that you're going to see a lot of people do is that they will do bound, and they'll do down forward 1, down forward 4 shoulder, and that was like the bread and butter for T6. You got to be careful doing that on small characters because it has a tendency to whiff, and it might also whiff on the bears because they're stupid. Why they have no hitboxes. But
what is that notation again?
For his wall game. So you do whatever your bound is, and then down forward 1. So just a poke, down forward 4, and then his forward 1+4 shoulder. And it does decent damage. It's not like slouchy, but it's like I said, it's not going to be like Lars type damage or Bruce. Bruce is really hefty at the wall. So that's like your standard. And then for smaller characters, if you don't think you can get that extra down forward 4 in there, then you would just do down forward 1 shoulder, and then take the Oki off of the shoulder. For me personally, I'm not a huge fan of how slow the shoulder recovers. So I personally like to do bound, down forward 1, down forward 2, 1. And that recovers way quicker than the shoulder, and leaves you in a really, really good Oki position, because then you can kind of follow them a little bit if you want to. I mean, you have enough time to sidestep with them if they tech roll to keep them against the wall. But you still have all those grabs at your disposal. And, if you think they're going to duck, you can go for another forward 2-1. We mentioned earlier. You can hit confirm it, so should be fairly safe.
I see what you did there.
To go for that. And if you just need the damage, you can do bound, down forward 1, down forward 2, 1, 3, which is the first 3 hits of his 10-hit string. And it has a tendency to whiff, like most things do on small characters. But if you're just looking for the extra damage, it's a round ender or whatever, you just need a few more points of damage, that's there. And it doesn't leave you in the worst Oki position, so if for whatever reason you misjudge the life bar, you can still play like while standing 2 setups, try to bait a counter hit or whatever, if you want to do that. And then there's the really, really, really tricky one, and that is his key charge. So there's actually 2 different things you can do. Some people like to do his back 2 unblockable. You can cancel it with down, and he'll recover and crouch. So it's really just, it's almost pure Oki, because it doesn't, that back 2+3 does not come out fast enough. If they decide to just stay there, you're not going to hit them on the ground. But if they tech roll, especially if you follow them, it will hit, and it has a really weird launch. It leaves him in back turn, but you can actually do a 1+4 from back turn to get the unblockable somersault. So total damage it does like 90 with just 2 hits, which is pretty good. But if you think they're gonna tech roll out of the range of it, because it is a little bit linear, it leaves him in crouch, so you can do while standing 2 kind of counter hit if you think they're going to try to hit it. Try to jab you out of it. You can do grab. He does have the crouch grab, which is a full crouch, down, back, 1+2. You can play with that. You can just do a normal grab if you want to, or while standing 4. You have all those Oki options at your disposal. And then of course the really fun one is his key charge, 1+2+3+4. So for those who, if you're picking up Armor King or if you're not used to Armor King, he has 2 special moves out of key charge. He has quarter circle forward 1, which is his poison breath, and then or fire breath, whatever you want to call it, which is pretty much the exact same as Nina's. And then he also has his old school dark upper, except it's a true mid. So it's a true mid launcher, and that is it's just crouch -2 as soon as you key charge. So it works a lot like the back 2+3. After you bound, you don't do anything; you just key charge, and then if they sit there, you can do any number of ground hits. Down 3, you can stop them with down 4. Down back 3, ollie kick, or you can do the down back 2+4 grab, pick them up, and then you get a free back 1/2 if they don't break it. Now, if they do try to stand up, then you have the mix up, because the poison breath, it's a high, but it's unblockable, so they can't just stand there. If they stand there, it's just going to hit them anyway. And then if they try to duck it, the true mid God Fist will launch. Now, for me, it's really, really flashy. It's very, very stylish. It looks really cool because, at least for the dark upper, the true dark upper, it's a blue sparkle move. So we love blue sparkle moves.
Yes, we do.
Now, I know that there are some players out there. There's actually a guy who posts in Core's Tekken Academy, Tiny Donovan Hughes. He's an online player. He's actually from Iowa. Go figure. But I know that he has been known to use that at the wall. It's very dangerous because if you guess, if the Armor King guesses right, it can lead to some pretty beefy damage, especially if you hit that dark upper. But I usually don't go for it just because at the wall I like to keep it simple. I like to take my damage plus Oki, my free guaranteed damage, rather than trying to go for the big home run, so to speak. But for those who wanted to know about it, I know that there's actually a video, I can't remember who did it, for T6 that kind of outlines the whole thing, and it's the exact same. It hasn't changed at all. You do everything the exact same way. The same mix-ups apply. So, all you have to do is type in like Armor King wall T6, and I think it'll bring it up. So it's not hard to find on YouTube. But yeah, if you want to know how to do the flashiness, there you go. That's how you do it. But I would prefer, just doing bread and butter, get my damage. And I'm a huge Tombstone fan at the wall. People don't like to break Tombstone because they're so afraid of the giant swing. And it leaves them right there at the wall. But yeah, just because his grabs in general do pretty good damage, and he also has a down forward 2+3, which is a headbutt grab. That leaves them right. Oddly enough, like all of his 2 grabs leave them at the wall. Let's see, giant swing obviously is going to flip you around. His regular 1 grab will flip you around, as will DDT. But if they don't break those, still damage. So, and then as I mentioned, the basic mix up to a grab, especially if they try to duck it, forward 2-1. Practice hit confirming it, shouldn't be a big deal. I do say that for me, my wall game with Armor King, and I know this is like me being super salty, but one of the reasons I don't play Armor King a whole lot anymore is because 1+2/2. Like I said earlier, that was my jam. I loved that string so much. And like you could not, it had shitty range, but you couldn't step it. I think it was technically punishable at like -10, but there was just no way that you could see the second hit. And it just there's just the way that it recovers. You can't tell. You have to guess whether he's gonna continue on with the second hit or stop. So you're taking a huge risk by doing that. And super easy to hit confirm, but is a mid hit confirmable wall splatting Yeah, awesomeness. I love that move. That was my wall goodness, but they took it away from me. So, but I mean, I guess you could still do it. It just doesn't knock down.
And we like consistency.
Yeah, we like consistency. Yeah. So, so yeah, I love his wall game. I think he's really good at the wall. And just because of the tag assault, the way that's just the system works now, and 4-2-1 carries super far. So I don't really think he has a huge problem. Like it's not Lee, of course, or a Bruce, but I think he has plenty wall carry. So yeah, I really like his wall game. I know that you're just messing around with him or just recently started picking him up, so I don't know how much you've messed around with the wall game. But I mean, you can just tell, like watching Little Majin overall, JDCR. I mean, those guys, they get you against the wall with a king. It's game on. Now I have you can't move, and I have everything at my disposal. So,
Gotcha.
Really, really super awesome. So, let's see. Running out of stuff to talk about with him.
Yeah, we got pokes done.
Yeah.
We talked. I guess we talked a little throws. We talked counter hit tools.
Punishing. One thing I did want to
Yeah.
about because we haven't gotten to that. I actually think he, as far as block punishing is concerned, he's average. But you mentioned earlier, using dark upper, you can use it just like a Mishima Electric. It's don't whiff. Do not whiff against him because you whiff, he's going to send you straight into the air for some red life.
Oh yeah.
And long range, like dark upper itself has good range, but like crouch dash one, even if you I mentioned earlier you can kind of do the wall standing or the crouch dash wave dash game with it, use it kind of as a pressure tool. It is amazing as a long range whiff punching tool. It's so quick. I'm actually going to check and see exactly how fast it is, but that move is, it's definitely not stealable. Let's put it that way.
And it almost looks like it has a vacuum effect. Kind of like how like back two has like a weird like suction where it kind of brings you in a little closer. It looks like this move here kind of like brings Army King closer to his opponent. So I see what you're saying about the that long range, because he's like almost dashing for. He's pretty much doing a clothesline, So he's really getting in there, and it looks like it's coming out pretty quick. So you're right. It is almost unseeable. It reminds me of Bob a little bit, and in that regard. And so yeah, that's a pretty solid move.
And if you do manage to hit it, by the way, this is one of the few moves that does leave him in like a pickup Oki sort of option.
Yeah.
We haven't really mentioned it, but down forward 3, which is a knee, mid knee, after you hit crouch dash 1, it doesn't matter if it's counter hit or not. It leaves you in the same position. If you do down forward 3, it'll pick stand up. I think it picks back roll. Yep, picks up back roll, and obviously it's going to pick up forward roll. It won't hit side roll. However, if they do decide to go to the side, down forward 3 does have a tendency to hit grounded at that range. So you might get a phantom hitbox that'll hit them on the ground anyway. Even if it doesn't do that, you're still left in an okay position. You can still run a little bit of an OK game, kind of on the back end, so to speak. And if they stand there, of course, you can ground grab if you want. I've already listed a few times, his various ground moves. So, it leaves you in a really good Oki position, and crouch dash 1 just by itself hits 36 damage. So, like if you do happen to hit the float on that, you basically just got your standard juggle with a 36 damage launcher. So it's pretty good, especially like I say, it's I-18 if you do it at its fastest. So it's I really enjoy it doing it as a whiff punisher, especially for people who like to kind of chill.
This is the move that will get people to duck if you want them to duck, especially because you're right. The range is killer, and it's pretty beefy in damage.
It's just like a God Fist plus 6 or 7 on block. Like I mentioned before, it's going to have that similar sort of effect. But people, I mean, there's a lot of people who like to sit there and sort of like, I'm not 100% sure what the philosophy is, but they like to sit in that 3 range and sort of jab, kind of jab, then move a little bit, throw out a jab, just kind of see what you do, and this will punish them. So, if you can catch them doing
that, or that flying elbow.
Yeah, the flying elbow is a little bit slower, but yeah.
Oh man, that's what you do to catch those jabbers.
That's true. But that elbow, like it's like a big plate that he's holding of hitboxes, like when he flies out there. So it's like it's really hard to step.
Yeah, you're right.
This just big arc that comes out. But that's it. His whiff punishing is really strong because dark upper, and then you have crouch dash 1. If they're really low, you can. He still has hop kick. Of course. Forward 2-1. If you're really good at it, shoulder. Shoulders are, of course, always good for whiff punishing. So his whiff punishing, I think, is above average, but his regular block punishing, standing, he gets 1-2 or 2-1. I think most people would take 2-1 at 10 frames, then back 1-2 at 12. Back 1-2 is a little goofy because it's obviously good damage, but it actually leaves you at -1, or not -1. Sorry, no, it's +6. I don't know why I said -1, but like the weird. I don't know. Maybe you have a different experience with it, but for some reason, it doesn't matter what I try to do after that. I have a tendency to get beat out. So I don't know if it's like a weird range issue where it pushes them like just a little too far away. If you're at the wall, obviously you don't have any problem with that. But I don't know. I try to do mix-ups, and for some reason, people like to YOLO me out of it. So.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the recovery is all that good, and usually a lot of back 1-2s, the ending hit usually gives a little pushback, but Armor King seems to kind of bring them in a little close. So
yeah, I don't know.
It
says it's +6, so I don't know why.
On block or hit?
Hit on hit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because back 1 is only -7 on block. If you do back 1-2, that's -12. That's actually punishable. But I would honestly, I don't know. Like, I must. It might be the timing. Maybe the recovery.
I think it may be your timing. Definitely. I would if I got that on hit, I'd probably go for something that's that I could commit to, that's consistent, like maybe like a down 4-2 after, right after back 1-2, just to make sure they're not moving. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Something like that.
And so that's at 12, and then at 14 he actually has 2 options. His shoulder is 14 frames. So if you need something with a really low hitbox, because he can do dark upper at 14 frames if you're really on point. But if you don't feel like your dark upper is that fast, or if you think they're recovering too low, like Lars up 4-3, you can shoulder. Although in that particular situation, like I said, he also has hop kick. So at 15 frames, you can do that as well. But there are going to be certain things like Death Fist, for instance. That would probably be something where dark upper is going to be preferable to hop kick, because hop kick will just whiff. But that's it. Pretty basic. Jabs, back 1-2, and then hop kick and or dark upper once you get to launch range. While standing, like I said, it's pretty average. His while standing 4, of course, is really beefy. 27 damage without counter hit, which is amazing for a while standing 4.
Sure is.
But but after that, that's it. Like up until 15, where you can start hop kicking. It's just while standing 4. So it is really simple, but you're just not going to get like Bruce has while standing. He has a juggle, at 13 frames.
Yes, he does.
And same with Kazuya, while at TP. So So you're not going to get that until 15 frames. I know, this is where I have to mention while standing 2. Again, I mentioned it a little bit at the wall. I am not a huge fan of this move for a couple of reasons. For one, it does 24 damage, which is okay, I guess, but it only gives you +2 on hit, and it's jab punishable on block. And I think the only reason that most people don't jab punish it is because it gives like a block stun. It looks like a block stun, like your opponent kind of throws up their hands a little bit after they block it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see like it gives you a crumple stun on counter hit, but I don't know. Some people are really good at hitting it, so I guess it's just
that's one of those again those situations where there's going to be some people that are really really solid at fishing for counter hits, and yeah, I see a lot of people hit that move like nothing, dude. I always thought that believe it or not, I always thought it was -14, honestly. But I'm actually checking right now just to confirm that. Most people do jab punish it if they can, though, and I think it's the uh, on block that kind of that stun that you get kind of throws you off. But let me just double check just to be uh, while standing 2, correct?
Yep, I'll
All
say
right. Yeah, I'm wrong. -10.
But it kind of I don't know, like this game has kind of become sort of weird, like just Tekken in general, because like if you go back to like tag 1, there were some moves that would give you big block stuns, but it was pretty uniform. Like the moves that gave you big block stuns typically gave you frames, and then everything else, like it looked like it was punishable. Like your character just kind of, maybe they closed in their arms a little bit. That blocking animation that everyone has, just the generic blocking animation. Like that was pretty much it for everything. Unless it gave you plus frames, you usually didn't get a block stun. But now it's really hard to tell. Like you really have to do your homework. I would say if you were to ask 9 out of 10 Tekken players that have never seen While Standing 2 from Armor Gang, that they probably wouldn't think it was punishable. And back 1 has that same effect as well. Now back 1 is negative; it's not punishable, but it still has like that guard break sort of animation. So I think it gives the illusion that it's safer than it really is. And that's kind of how I feel about While Standing 2. Like you said, some people are just going to be really good at fishing for it, and they'll be able to hit, and it'll give you good damage. When you hit the counter hit on it, just for some reason, I don't know, really bad at just throwing it in there, sticking it in there, trying to get people. But even then, as a punisher, While Standing 4 does more damage. So it's technically 12 frames, but it doesn't matter. While Standing 4 does more.
I like it. I like it. While Standing 2, it looks like it has pretty good range. I think it's 12 frames, only -10. It'd definitely be really good versus someone who was coming in with strings. If you want to catch them on a solid counter hit, yeah, it's a pretty good tool. I think I like it, but yeah, you would have to kind of figure out how to apply it. It's like one of those moves you have to figure out exactly how you'd want to apply it.
I do think it has a tendency to like stuff jabs.
Oh yeah.
Because just for just the way that it hits. I don't think it technically crushes or anything like that, but
I think it has range. I think it'll beat out at like max range. It'll probably hit out a jab before the jab had a hit you.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. So, but that's the end of it. Is punishing. His whiff punishing I think is way better than his block punishment. But he's still. It's very simple. It shouldn't be very hard to figure out if you're trying to pick him up. Pretty much you'll want to, with the exception of certain stuff, like there are certain moves where you're only going to get a shoulder. You won't be able to get a dark upper, even though the move might be -16 or whatever. But aside from those situations, you're going to have 2-1 at 10 frames, back 1-2 at 12, and then you're going to be, hop kick, YOLO hop kicks once it hits 15. And then While Standing is even simpler. While Standing 4 up until you can launch. So. And if you want to, you can do While Standing 1 at 16 frames, and you can tag out off of While Standing 1. So probably the big stuns, like Brian's Snake Edge or something like that. That's what you reserve those for. One thing, I should mention, just because we haven't talked about it too much, like his tag assaults in Red Life juggle. I mentioned you can tag off while standing one, and you can obviously tag off of Dark Upper, which is what makes that move so ridiculously retarded. But if you have a really good pickup character, Bruce is one, Lars is another. I think like Leo, I think she's a good pickup character.
So is Anna. Oh my
goodness.
Nina.
Anna, Nina. If you have a good pickup character, his hop kick gets way better.
Oh yeah.
Because you hop kick, Dark Upper, tag out, done, and then just come in with their thing. Now it does take some timing to get the Dark Upper. Otherwise, you might accidentally do like down one or down forward two, or sorry, down two or down forward two. But once you get it down, boom, Red Life. Plus, his solo damage isn't the best in the world, so chances are you're going to get more damage off of it too. But something to mention, and then for his tag filler, if he's the one being tagged in, your typical go-to is going to be cartwheel 2 to cartwheel elbow. Unless you have a specific reason to do something else, like up forward 3, I'd imagine if there's some goofy wall situation. But that's going to be your go-to. I know some people like to do like a 1+2 what's another
one? Yeah, I always thought that was the go-to, but you're right. Actually, this. Wow.
Yeah, cartwheel does.
Wow. That just changed the whole scale of damage, dude. What the hell was I doing?
I don't know, man.
Wow.
I don't know what you're doing. And then, like I mentioned, and you guys can go back and watch the TFC replays, or watch JDCR or whoever. If Armor King is the one that's staying in, typically you're going to be doing like up forward 3 into Shining Wizard, or you're going to be ending straight into a Giant Wizard, depending on how many hits your partner does. And then if you want to, you can always end it with down forward 2-1 to try to get that wall splat. Although up forward 3 launch is really high, so that can do the same thing if you're close enough to the wall. But yeah, that's like I said, once again, pretty simple, straightforward, easy to remember stuff. I think we've gone over most everything.
How do you feel about back 3?
Back 3. What is back 3? Oh, I honestly, back 3 is good. I know it's I sort of use crouch dash 1 and his shoulder in the same way that you would use back 1. His shoulder does more damage, so I tend to do his shoulder. It's more punishable, but at the same time, it's quicker and it does more damage. At least I believe it's quicker. I think back 3 is like 16 frames or something. Let me check. Yeah, 16 frames. And his shoulder is 14. But it's good because it's. I mean, if you prefer doing just one button with the 3, if that's easier for you, you can do that.
Okay. It has awesome range.
Yeah, it has really good range. Wow. But like I never use it only because I feel like either I can use crouch dash 1 or I can use shoulder in every situation that I would use back 3, and then I would get a better result. I would get more damage. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely good for sure because it does all those things, just does a little bit less damage than those. Crouch dash 1 isn't going to wall splat, although shoulder will. So yeah, I think it's just going to boil down to preference.
Okay, gotcha.
The one thing that I do have to say, I noticed Majin used it a couple times, and I am just terrible with it because it's so fucking slow. Down back 1+2, the huge headbutt. I love that move. I love that move more than life itself.
Man, he was using that really well.
I am terrible at throwing it in there because you really have to get your opponent to stop because it's 26 frames, so it's not fast in the least. but it's really awesome. I mean, it does tons of damage, and they can't tech roll off the stun. It doesn't give you a juggle, unfortunately, but it is
Those
pretty awesome.
those slower moves. They do tend to mess with the momentum of a match, and I think that's how he was applying it, and that's why I like moves like that too, because if you want to slow it down a little bit, if somebody's getting really offensive, and you want to kind of like or even if you're on the offensive and you feel like you're pressing a lot of buttons and maybe you just kind of want to slow it down a little bit, moves like that will kind of help break a defense, I think, and I think that's how he was applying it, and that's why that moves that's pretty good. I like it. It is doing a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, the only reason, well, I guess there's a couple reasons. Like, it doesn't feel like, for how slow it is, like the move is as good as it should be. Because, like, on block, it only gives you +3, which seems a little silly for a move of that magnitude. And yeah, it does do 40 damage, which is pretty decent. But it doesn't give you, I'm sorry, it does give you a guaranteed like down 3, but gives you guaranteed Oki, but no juggle. But like the tracking and the range on it are really weird. Like, it has good range, but the tracking is such that if you're even a little off axis, it has a tendency to whiff. It's best used at the wall for sure. And when I was watching Majin play, like that's pretty much the only time I saw him do it. I was at the wall, but you can't go anywhere. Um, so yeah, but I love the move. It's just, I really haven't found any applicable situation for it.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. There is, if you have a was it class 1 launcher or whatever the hell it is, like any launcher that skyrockets your opponent,
Yeah.
you can tag out and you can do that because it's a bound move. So like if you have a partner like Bruce, his back forward 4, and then you can come in with Armor King and do that for a bound.
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
But yeah, that's more flashy though. That's styling, as the kids would say these days. It's not nearly as functionally awesome as other things would be. But yeah. Oh, let's see. But yeah, I think we've gone over safety. Talked about tag combos, punishing pokes. See, his damage in general is really good, though. I mean, just generally speaking. I mean, if you're tag assaulting, you're going to get good damage, but I feel as pokes do good damage while standing 4, obviously, really good damage. Stuff like down 2, down 3 is good. We talked about walls. Tracking, I don't know if you know anything. You might have a little bit more knowledge about this than I do, but for me, just because of the way that you have to play Armor King, because he's not a rushdown character, I don't feel like he has a huge tracking problem. I wouldn't say like it's amazing. Like he does have homing moves like down forward 12 to catch people, but at the same time, just the spacing game that you're playing with crouch dash, wave dash, like a lot of things that he's doing realign him anyway. Since you're not like doing pressure, at least not with moves. Usually when you're at range 0, that's when the grabs come into play, which you can't really step anyway. I don't feel like he has a bad quote unquote side to step to. I mean, that's not to say that he's unsteppable or anything like that, of course, but yeah, I don't really think he has a weak side. I would just say pick a side. It really doesn't matter because he's not. Yeah, I mean, if you go up against someone who's mashing buttons with Armor King, they really don't know what they're doing. So.
They say step right.
Step right.
Yeah, they do say step right.
See, because that sort of makes sense to me, because stuff like down 4 probably won't track all that well in that direction. Down back 3, but like crouch dash 1, that's totally going to own you if you sidestep right. So
yeah, maybe it's range dependent.
Could be. But I don't know. I just feel like he has like his moves are 50-50. Like half of them you can sidestep one way, half of them you can sidestep the other way. But
Yeah, so maybe stepping right would probably be bad advice. So I mean, I guess you're open to step either way. I guess depending on the situation and if you know what move may be coming out and you have an idea of how to step it, I guess left or right would probably be okay.
yeah, I mean that would be my advice because we haven't really talked a whole lot about tracking. He has homing moves just like everybody else. I mentioned the down forward 12, just a super good move. I like that move. But yeah, I mean his moves track decently, but it's usually one direction or the other. So yeah, just kind of pick a direction and go for it. I guess sidestep right, so to speak. But I mean, to me, if you're playing a good armor king, chances are sidestep isn't really going to come into play, or it shouldn't be. Like if you were playing against a Lily, obviously sidestep is going to be huge because she sucks at tracking. But with Armor King, just because you kind of have to play him defensively until you get those plus frames. And then even when you're in their face, you're going to be grabbing, and grabs at that range are hard to step. I don't really feel like he has that problem. He did in T5. That was like the big thing. He was worse than Lily when it came to sidestepping. Like he couldn't track worth a fucking damn. But they fixed that in T6, and yeah.
Yes, they did.
So it's not really a huge deal, but I mean, you can definitely step him at times. I mentioned Crouch Dash 1 tracks to his left, but it can definitely be stepped to his right, your left. So, let's see. We talked about panic buttons, counter hit moves, grabs, good range, of course. We talked about his range a little bit. I don't think he has any sort of range problem. Wall carry damage, good. Oki, good. Can you think of anything that we have not discussed? Because I know I started the podcast like, hey, this shouldn't take long. This is a pretty straightforward character, which he is, but we've been talking for a while.
Yeah, we have been, but he's loaded, I'd say, because he has many different play styles. Let me.
Oh, so something I do want to actually a couple things I want to mention.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't yet. You won't see these moves very often, but Frankensteiner you can tag out of if you happen to nail it. Just something to keep in mind. Down back 4, which is his drop kick at your ankles. If you assuming that you don't hit it at like super max range, if they try to quick stand, you get a free while standing 4. You don't, unfortunately, you can't do anything off the float, but it's still free damage. And then if they roll away, you can do running mix-ups. Damn, there's one other thing I was going to say. Oh, I noticed a lot of people like to end their juggles or bound with the forward 1+2. I don't. No one. You'll rarely see anyone use that move out in the open. I don't think it's. Actually, I do think it is punishable. Check that. But it has a punch parry built into it. It's not like animation. He just kind of goes through it, and it is negative 1. And I'm sorry, he doesn't go through. Well, yeah, he does go through. He absorbs 1 hit. So something to keep in mind. But it is punishable on block. But it does, I think, the most damage if you end. It's his, aside from down the huge headbutt, it's his highest damage bound move. So I know Majin, his typical King Armor King juggles. He usually bounded with that move. And then lastly, forward 4. You see this a lot with Armor Kings, and it's amazing. It has really good tracking. You're mostly going to use this when they're on the ground because it kind of keeps them stuck there and does good damage. So I don't believe it really has a tracking issue. But yeah, huge vertical hitbox. And of course, hits grounded. I'm trying to think of a move that's like very similar.
I got a move we're missing.
What are we missing?
Capital punishment.
Yes. I'm personally really shitty at throwing this in there. Like I just don't really understand the times for when you should use this. But yeah, Obviously, good range. Safe, I actually think it gives you +1. Block, let's see, +2, and leaves them recovering crouch. And then, gives the juggle on hit, mid, of course. It's supposedly linear, but it has a really funky tendency to hit you when you're stepping.
Oh, sure it does. Yeah, you're right.
It's it's not supposed to. I think it's just like the hitboxes are like kind of a fan. They're kind of fanned out in front of him. So it's weird. I don't know why, but like you see certain players like Majin. I know Majin loves it. It's sort of like the elbow. It's nothing he's spamming, but he's really, really good at picking the right times.
Especially to punish raw tag.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, capital punishment. If you're good with it, absolutely, very, very good move.
And that is notation up forward 1+2 for those that didn't know.
Yes, and I believe you used to be able to do it up one, either up or up forward, but I guess it's just up forward. I've always done it up forward, but I know you used to be able to do it just up
forward. Yeah, I'm getting just a jumping punch now if I'm just pressing up.
Stupid jump punches. Capital punishment C. Yeah, I think that about does it. Just in case you're really good at hunting the counter hits, back 2-1-2 string, you can confirm it. Do back 2-1, see if it hit. Sort of like Bruce's back 1-2-1.
Yep.
Same sort of deal, except it is a launcher on counter hit, so down 2 to get the bound, and then you probably want to go tag assault. But yeah, just if you're good at that kind of stuff, definitely something. We didn't really talk too much about the knee. I'm just because of its speed. I typically use it just in juggles. But it does have decent tracking, mid, safe, good damage on hit. Gives a stun on counter hit, so you can get a juggle off of it. Corporate elbows. Oh, one thing we I don't know how I missed this. Ollie kick. So one thing that a lot of people will look at Armor King and say, okay, this is a huge weakness. He doesn't have the knockdown low. And even King, even though it's slow, he still has the what is it? Full crouch down forward 1, the launcher. I think that's what it is. Like even he has something. Armor King has aside from down back 4, which isn't a juggle starter, it's just a knockdown. He has nothing like that. Down back 3, but it only launches on counter hit. But Ollie kick, don't sleep on Ollie kick. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's really fast, super long range. Some characters cannot launch it, even if they do block it. It has the second hit, which is also launch punishable, but some people will just freeze and wait for that hit to come out. So the second hit is sort of a cover if they happen to block the first one. But I really love Ollie kick, and of course
what is the notation for that?
It's down 3+4, and then you can also do it from full. If you're already in full crouch, you can do down forward 4. It's similar to King's, but at the same time different. Obviously King can do the multiple kicks, and then he does the 2 or whatever it is, the little punch after it.
He does have a follow-up, right, after that?
Yep, the 3. Sorry.
Okay. Yep. All right. Which is launch punishable.
Yep, they're both launch punishable. But it's sort of one of those things where I rarely do the mid unless I really, really think they're button happy.
Yep.
But a lot of top tier or high level players know that the second hit is there. So
that hesitation factor.
Yeah. So that hesitation. But even then, just the move itself, it's super quick. I guess you can sort of throw it into that Lars, Lars low problem where he's kind of taking a risk when he does it. But I still think it's really good. Like it's still 20 damage low. That's super fast. Let me see exactly.
I agree. It's kind of unseeable.
Oh yeah, you definitely can't see it, but see exactly how fast it is. If I can find it, where's the list? It is 17 frames. So
that's really fast, dude, for a low.
Yeah. So for some, and depending on who you're playing against, what the character you're playing against, you might be able to just get away with it. I wouldn't spam it or anything like that, but you can probably feel a little bit more comfortable with certain characters. And not have to worry about launch, especially like it has a really long hitbox. Like I said, it has some pretty range. So if you hit it at tip range, if you're really good at eyeballing that, it makes it even harder.
Yep.
So like I'm wondering, I'd have to test this, but like Kazuya, if he blocks that at max range, I don't know if Twin Pistons will reach.
How negative is it?
16.
He can.
So he could probably do
He
something.
can hit while standing too.
Okay, yeah, that would probably.
That's 16.
Yeah. But I'm sure I can't think of any characters with really shitty while standing punishment right now. But no, Heihachi would probably be. Heihachi wouldn't be able to launch it, but he would be able to get his wall standing one or whatever the hell that is.
Unless he were to block and do an electric, but I don't know if he's fast enough to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's what he. I don't know if you could get that anyway. Because he recovers crouch. So I think it would whiff.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he'd probably get while standing one into follow up.
But in any case, it's still in that weird circumstance where if you're not used to it, you kind of have to know how to punish it.
Exactly.
If he's right now, you shouldn't be using it as a 50-50. Let me put it that way. You shouldn't be running up in their face and then doing it. But as long as you're putting it at range, it's super good, I think.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good mention. I really do like that.
I'm just flowing through his move list here. See if there's anything I missed that's worthwhile.
What about you didn't really talk much about while standing one. Do you not like that move as much?
While standing one is good. The only reason that I didn't mention it too much is because he has hop kick. Because like I personally would not. I'm not the best at instant while standing punishment anyway, but it's one of those things where I don't know, like any situation where you would want to do that, a hop kick would probably serve you just as well. And like if it's you're not going to be range with punishing with that because it doesn't have the best range in the world.
Yeah, it seems pretty slow too.
Yeah, it's 16 frames, so it's a frame slower than hop kick, 2 frames slower than dark upper, assuming you do perfect dark upper. It's definitely going to be useful. Like if you block a big stun low, hell sweep or something like that, then you probably do that rather than hop kick just to make sure that it lands.
Yep.
But other than that, that's pretty much the only time I ever see it used. Like if you're really good, like the really top level players, like if they can, duck under those strings in the middle of the string and punish with it. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not consistent enough with that to really recommend it. So yeah. But it's good. You can tag off of it. Like I mentioned at the beginning, they changed it tag 2 so that it always gives you a launch now, like a regular launch. Let's see. I think that's.
What's the deal with down back 4?
You mean down back?
Yeah, down back 4 Armor King now is that pretty much a free low?
Well,
on block.
You mean like his little drop kick thing?
Yeah.
You mean on block? What? No.
What's the option? Like he pretty much falls on the floor. So what have you seen?
It's one of those things where just like with the elbow, if they block it, they do get a free low. It's probably best just to take your low and then stand up, just because of the position that you're in. Face down, feet towards. That's if you try to stand up, you're just asking to get something in the back. So yeah, usually if that gets blocked, you're just going to sit there and take the low, just so that you don't have to risk eating a string in the back and getting possibly launched from the back, which would be bad.
Gotcha.
Something else, just kind of a little tidbit. If you want to mess with somebody, crouch dash 3. I know you asked about this a while ago, the unblockable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it's a skill check. That's exactly what it is. You can't step it. So I guess if you think you can catch somebody at the beginning of a sidestep or sidewalk or something, but it's pretty slow. So as long as you know that it's a high, and can duck it, I think you can sidestep and still have enough time to duck it. But I usually do that at the wall, unless I have a lot of confidence that they'll duck it, which most top players will. But yeah, skill check at the wall because it'll wall flat. So see if they duck it.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, we didn't talk about his chain throws too much. He only has a couple of them. They're okay. You can do the one out of crouch dash, or actually, I'm sorry, that's the only one that he can do, which is crouch dash 2+3. It's just 2+3. I thought you could do it 1+4, but no, it's just 2+3. But it's he has a few different chains off of it that you can mess with, and they're okay. And there's a couple of them that leave you in a pretty good O-key position, like right at his feet.
I got something.
What's up?
I am so I stated before I am a Mishima player, and I think this is very critical in the wave dash portion, or pretty much going forward part of his game, especially because as we mentioned before, a lot of players on defense tend to duck Armor King. So we did mention your crouch dash 4 to check people from ducking. I also like to add running 3. That's one of those tools, especially in Mishima gameplay, that we love to use to add additional pressure. And I think again, because it has that a tendency to come out relatively slow, a lot of people don't know how to react to it in time, and they usually tend to get hit. I think this is definitely one of the moves that you want to master, because if you're solid, you can pretty much get it at range 0, and it's a good addition to add into your game, especially versus those that like to duck versus Armor King. And then from the block stun, you can get a lot of different mix-ups. You can kind of play it safe and hold back a little bit, or you can kind of go in. If you want to go YOLO, you can do a lot of down back 3s after you're running 3s, things like that. And I think it's pretty good, especially up close. If you're playing the poke game, jabbing a little bit, and you want to kind of change the flow or the momentum, if you notice that it kind of staying still, not really jabbing or attacking much, throw that move out to add a little bit of pressure, get him over to the wall, start mixing him up with grabs, things like that. But definitely for those players that want to take Armor King to another level, master the while running 3, instant while standing 3, especially from close range. It'll definitely help you in the mid game.
I absolutely agree, especially at the wall, because people know that you can step running 3 if you're if you see it coming, but 4-2-1 will own you if you try to step.
That's right.
So, and since you can confirm that, it's sort of free guess, so to speak. So. Excellent. Well, man, I think we've pretty much. He doesn't have a big move list, but I think we pretty much went through all of it. So hopefully I got most of it, and not leaving too many secret nuggets out there, for people who are looking to pick up Armor King. And pretty important, because a lot of people think that he's top tier in this game, and I would agree. I mean, I know everybody puts the Mishimas above everyone else, but that's like an on paper tier list. He has. You don't have to master electric with him. Don't have to worry about that. Although I guess you could, for the -14, if you really want to be awesome, you can practice doing Dark Upper for those situations. But otherwise, he's very simple. He's pretty much a basic Mishima with king grabs, so good pokes. So very good character, I think. Man, that's all I got. I don't know if you have anything else to add or anything you can think of that we didn't talk about.
Oh no, man! I think we definitely got a lot of good topics covered.
So I totally meant for this podcast to be like an hour, and it ended up being like hour and a half or some shit like that.
No, we're like in 2 hour mark.
Yes. So yeah, if hopefully that covers everything. I really hope so. Hope I didn't miss anything that's really really big. But yeah. So otherwise, I mean that's all I got. So usually, since we've already hit the 2 hour mark, we'll probably skip the rant section unless there's something you really really want to rant about. But otherwise, I do like to give my guests the last word. So if you have any shout outs or if there's anything random you want to throw out there, by all means.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Boston scene. Definitely a big shout out to Off in Bed and Gangster of Love. Those guys really keep me sharp, and the other players as well. We got Frank the Tank, aka Sparta. We got a lot of different players. Guregu. We got a whole scene, man. I just want to give a shout out to those guys. They pretty much come out every Mondays, and we get some really good sessions in, and I really do appreciate that because a lot of people are pretty busy. They got work, things like that, and we pretty much host sessions till at least 12:30 at night, and these guys got work in the morning. So I mean, I definitely want to give them a big shout out because they sacrifice their bodies for Tekken, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, the electric room, right?
The electric room on Mondays, which I think will change now because, as you already know, I am no longer working this overnight shift. Mm-hmm. Tonight will be my last night, and I'll be working the normal 9 to 5. So we'll probably start getting the electric room on Mondays and also on Fridays because those guys are pretty much on a normal schedule as well.
Nice.
Yes. So big shout out to them. I also want to give a shout out to all the guys that came out to TFC, man, because I'm not gonna lie. I went there solo, and this was last weekend, and
boo to that. Big, yeah. I'm gonna shit on Boston for that. Where are you guys? That's a huge tournament. What the hell is going on?
It's all good, man. I went out there solo, and I thought it would have been a strange experience going out there, not really knowing anybody. But man, Coors Academy has really, really, really got me close with a lot of people. And as soon as you get there, people automatically know exactly who you are, and they show you a lot of love. So I felt right at home, and I want to give a big shout out to all those guys out there for making me feel, part of the family. And, I mean, it was a really good event. We had a shit load of Tekken players, at least 100 players in that tournament, which is pretty rare. Usually most tournaments or majors, you'll see maybe 32 or a little bit more, except for, of course, like Final Round, Evo, and such. But TFC, I think, had a pretty solid turnout for Tekken, at least. And, so big shout-outs to those guys for sure. And
did it seem like the other tournaments, like the 2Ds and stuff, like they had I haven't even checked. Did it seem like they had a really really big turnout, or was Tekken like? Because I know like usually Tekken gets, if it's a big tournament, it gets between like 50 and 100, but then everything else gets like multiple hundreds of people. Did it seem like there were that many people there?
I think that was the same idea again. I definitely don't think that Tekken filled the room for sure. I mean, I've seen a lot of Dead or Alive. I've seen a lot of Smash Brothers.
Oh, Smash Brothers was awesome, dude. The only thing I watched was the grand finals, and Mewtwo King was mad salty. Oh my god, I could feel the salt. I could feel it. It was awesome.
Taste it. You could taste it in the air. It started to flow.
No.
And I actually used to play Smash Brothers pretty competitively too. So I love watching that game at high level, man. It's so fun.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's pretty much my shout out. I mean, if I skipped anything, I apologize, guys. But yeah, just a quick shout out to the team.
Cool. Well, the only thing I only have one more thing left, and that is, basically, a little rest in peace. I'm sure that most people have heard by now that Wing Zero, his real name is Richard Warren, passed away very suddenly within the last week. So, very, very sad moment for the fighting game community. I mentioned this to you, Still Electric. Yeah, the fighting game community is, for the most part, when it comes to these sorts of tragedies, we're pretty spoiled. It doesn't happen very often, and I know it was a very unexpected event. And I won't get into the details. Not only because I don't know a whole lot, but it's nothing that we should really dwell on. It's just one of those things where just all you need to know is that he passed away. And I know Shin Blanca and a lot of the ATL guys are throwing sort of an impromptu charity event, proceed event for him. So definitely check that out. I know there's announcements everywhere, but just pay your respects. He was a really good guy. He touched a lot of people. So definitely a sad moment for the FGC, and I have to say that I, for one, am proud of all the support that has been shown since that happened. It's definitely one of those things where you think that there's a lot of hate in the FGC, and at times there are, but when it really matters,
we definitely come together.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick. I know that there's going to be a PayPal account set up when they do that tournament that they'll run on stream. So definitely consider doing that. I know it's going to go to his funeral services. So yeah, something that you should definitely do and check into, and pay your respects if possible. So
definitely rest in peace, man.
So that's all I got. I hate to leave it on a downer note like that, but yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and of course thank you Still Electric for coming on. Sorry we already did your characters, but at least we could get you on. And of course I hope to see for big things from you in the future, because I know you're definitely a good player, and I know a lot of people saw you on that Tekken Smash episode. So they got a little taste of the of the electric room on that. So, but yeah, hopefully for those listening, you learned a little bit about Armor King. He hasn't changed a whole lot from T6, so hopefully filled you in on any of the little differences. And my apologies if I missed anything, missed any little secret nuggets or technology that someone is hiding out there. But yeah, pretty straightforward characters. So hopefully this podcast will do something for you. And like I said, trying to get more scheduled. I don't know when the next one exactly will be out. I'm hoping within the next week or so, just to try to get more out as quickly as I can. I do have a few people on the hook for these podcasts. It just boils down to getting them scheduled. And getting our days and our times aligned and everything. So thanks for hanging with me. We hope you learned something. Thanks again, Still Electric, for coming on, and we will catch all you guys later. Peace.